the USA, France, and the Netherlands most recently. And we also did an Earth Crisis Forum in partnership with the Laudato Si movement. So it's been a wonderful program of rolling forums. And it's also a great example of how things evolve, because then after the forum, people were saying, wouldn't it be great to have a way of just continuing these conversations between the forums? And so was born the Earth Crisis blog space, where everybody can contribute and share, and that's still available. And what arose out of that was the wonderful group that we're going to meet this evening. It started back in 2023, I think I'm right in saying, and it's truly international, and it's a coming together of those people whose hearts and minds are committed to that wonderful insight that I shared from Thomas Berry, committed to this experience, this vision of the universe as a communion of subjects, not a collection of objects. And it was first hosted and facilitated by a wonderful woman called Jane Greenlees, who we're very, very grateful to. And the group runs itself as I've experienced it and understood it. It's a wonderful collective endeavor, but I'd also like to name check and acknowledge Jane Graham now, who does such great work in making sure that everybody knows when it's meeting and how to get there. It meets at this time every week, and it's a wonderful resource. And enough from me, I'll pop up at the end of this evening, but I just want to thank you all for being here, and particularly the members of the International Earth Crisis Meditation Group for just doing what you do and being who you are. So we are really, really looking forward to spending time with you, Marianne, and all the other members of the group. Thank you so much.
Thank you. What each one of us does in our everyday life to contribute to the well-being of the earth and creation will help us stitch a tapestry all together into a bigger picture of possibility. Hello, and we welcome you to our Thursday meditation group. We gather each week from Australia, Brazil, Canada, England, Scotland, France, the Netherlands, Portugal, and the United States. We would like to thank Kate and Jim for this invitation and opportunity to lead tonight's gathering, or today's gathering. And we invite you to share in this sacred time, space, and meditation. To start, we would like to acknowledge and honor our Mother Earth. All the sacred lands on which we stand and live, and all the ancestors from whom we grow and learn. May we breathe together as one blessed earth and one blessed humanity. In this gathering, we will follow a similar rhythm to our weekly group meetings through meditation, prayer, a time of sharing, and discussion with breakout groups. We have weaved a tapestry of personal photos and paintings, personal thoughts, and cherished readings to share. There will be several members speaking and reading throughout the gathering. Their voices represent all the voices of our group. I invite you to find a comfortable position to sit. Backs long, gaze inward, breath flowing gently.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to read a passage from Isaiah 55, 10 to 12. For as the rain and the snow come down from heaven, and do not return there until they have watered the earth, making it bring forth and sprout, giving seed to the sower and bread to the eater, so shall my word be that goes out from my mouth. It shall not return to me empty, but it shall accomplish that which I propose and succeed in the thing for which I sent it. For you shall go out in joy and be led back in peace. The mountains and the hills before you shall burst into song, and all the trees of the field shall clap their hands. God of life and love, divine source of all that is, open our hearts to the silent presence of your Spirit. Lead us into that mysterious silence where your love is revealed to all who open their hearts to you. Maranatha.
As we gently come to meditation, with our eyes still in a soft gaze, I would like to read a poem called Eyesight by Rosemary Wartola Trommer, which beautifully calls our attention to a deeper seeing within nature. I've never seen the world the bee sees, a world of indescence in which petals change colour depending on the angle, a world in which a field of sunflowers appear not as a smear of yellow, but as individual blooms. I've never seen the bullseye pattern in the primrose or the pansy. These human eyes, unable to perceive designs in UV light. Today, I look out at the empty garden where just last week there were marigolds and calendula, and I see the absence of flowers, but also I see mounds of golds, yellows, oranges, and I see the boy who used to sit on the edge of the wooden beds, and I see the young version of me, not yet grey, weeding the rows, while the boy tells me stories about school and the things he longs for beyond what he has. They are there, I know. The flowers, the woman, the boy, though somehow they're so far beyond the spectrum, not even the bees can see them. We would now like to share with you this collage of our personal photos and words.
My paintings are often about healing, inner and outer landscapes. We are connected to all creation. If we give the earth, nature, a chance, it will heal itself. but that's hard. I've cried so many tears, I sometimes wonder if I've raised the sea level. The group has been healing for me, an anchor, a safe place to be, a place of support and solidarity. I've been amazed at the breadth of what is shared. Some words that stand out for me are presence and liminal space. We are in a time of great change, and being in that in-between space is difficult. It is such a blessing and privilege to be in a group that has chosen to make the same journey. Each Thursday, each person has their own voice and perspective. The times of our sharing are a kind of burgeoning enlightenment, expansively cohesive. Everyone sees the beauty in nature. They are active. They try to stay positive, each in their own way. Everyone has gifts. We can be the mouth, the hands, the feet to bring a message.
Here are Beth's words and pictures. She could not be with us today. Oh dear, dear God, how do you love me? As I take my morning walk, let me count the ways. You love me in last night's rain that washed the air so clear that I can touch the mountains. You love me in the blue sky overhead with just a wisp of cloud. You love me in the smell of the trees and grass growing in the sun. You love me in the hawk soaring, then landing in the tree as I pass by. You love me in the pelicans hunting over the ocean and in the dolphin pods whose fins announce that they are here too. I know that you are hunting for me as I am hunting for you. And then as I return home, I feel us finding each other and you holding me in the arms of my long-loved husband.
Joanna Macy spoke of the greening of the heart and the gradual widening of seeing ourselves in the wider cosmological universal self. Through the piercings to our heart, by simple moments in creation, a bird, a wind shadow, a fallen leaf, I have been startled into stopping in my tracks. I give thanks at that point, and the group has shared the importance of giving thanks as well as understanding the grief and rage that we experience. This group has offered me spiritual insight, ecological education, and an awareness of the wisdom of other cultures. It has enabled me to share in the grief of that loss of the ancient understandings and the consequent loss upon loss for the planet.
The Earth Crisis Meditation Group has opened my eyes and my heart to a different way of seeing and loving our Earth. I joined the group because of my involvement in Ramsey Quiet Garden, which was a fruit of our local meditation group. The church where we met had an overgrown garden that no one used. So with the support of local people, we created a wildlife-friendly garden for the town. Since 2020, over 40 quiet mornings have been held at the garden, giving participants the opportunity to be attentive to the natural world and to practice silent contemplation. A new way of seeing is becoming part of our everyday lives. We're finding treasures and messages in unexpected places. La gentillesse n'est pas un geste, c'est un art de vivre. Kindness is not a gesture, it's an art of living. The obvious neglect and destruction of the earth is heartbreaking, but along with the natural seasons, the planting and harvesting, the subtle rewilding of land on which we stand, on which we live, we are finding hope and renewal.
This group helps to keep me focused on what I can do to engage with the climate emergency and also to value small things. In May last year, Gabriel in our group sent me a picture of oxalis sprouting out of her doorstep, which she titled Nature Seizing Every Opportunity. And so we began to send back and forth pictures of nature taking a foothold wherever she can, in drains, cracks in walls, a very positive metaphor for our lives and endeavours. I now water the little plants growing in my garden walls. It is perhaps in my little garden that I communicate most with the earth. I keep my borders topped up with soil that I collect from molehills in surrounding fields. Rich, friable soil, full of nutrients and free. Recently, dismayed by the nationalistic flags that had begun to appear in our nearest town, I felt I had to do something. I could not reach the flags, tied tightly high up on the lampposts, but I could reach a red St. George cross sprayed on a boarded-up window. So I went on an early Sunday morning with silver honesty flowers and silver and gold markers and wrote the words love, trust, community and belonging along the arms, with kindness written in the centre.
In our group, we've been discussing the relationship between contemplation and action. A few years back, my husband Sam and I were living in a small desert town in rural southern Nevada. We witnessed firsthand, in front of our own home, the destruction of environment and displacement of native wildlife. During this time, Sam used his writing and photography to create and share a possible pathway to the future through the lessons of the past. I would like to read one of his pieces of prose to you now. He called it, What Was Ancient Inspires Renewal. As I write, there are bulldozers, ditch diggers, and dump trucks working on all four sides of our house. The sounds of heavy construction and scraping of shovels against stone and soil are accented by the beeping of semi-trucks backing up to load or unload materials, machines, and the inevitable scrap
Once a balanced ecosystem, it was full of wild horses, coyotes, burros, rabbits, and owls, and the plants or small creatures they fed on. Gone now all, along with the bushes, trees, and even the topsoil. A barren dust bowl, machine flat to facilitate the human march of perceived progress. Windstorms whip up dust that obscures mountains and neighbors alike. Dust devils spiral angrily by coating everything with a fine, powdery dust. But what is this? Odd-shaped and ancient stones, dug up and left behind by the hungry mechanical soil eaters. Unearthed from their long rest, forgotten artifacts of a life in tune with the earth. Holding one brings dreams back, a gift from long ago, lovingly and skillfully made to carve, chip, and grind out a life, not just of survival, but of an existence with compassion and respect for the blessings of the natural world. Not just a reminder of a lost way of life, but an inspiration for creative thinking, art in the stones.
I'm reminded of Richard Raw's response to a question when he founded the Centre for Action and Contemplation. He was asked, which is the most important word in the title, the Centre for Action and Contemplation? And he responded that the important word was and. Action and contemplation. In this Thursday online group, what creates community is both our time of meditation and our actions, sharing our love for creation. The group offers inspiration to us all, coming from disparate places, some from urban areas, some from rural spaces, from places where nature is always in evidence, and in cities where a closer look is needed to see the tiny flowers poking up through walls and drains. For every person in the group, there are different things that move us, and each one inspires others. Hope is contagious. Some of us really care for the land, keen gardeners intent on allowing nature to rebalance herself. Some of us are grandparents who take joy in seeing and encouraging our small people to respond with awe and wonder to life in the natural world. And some of us see ourselves as active citizens, writing to politicians, signing petitions, going on demonstrations concerned with the health of our planet and justice for all life on the planet. It is easy in these times of terrible conflict and cultural division to feel overwhelmed, but attending this group helps each to see with new eyes, provides balance, encouragement, and the sense of a shared journey.
I joined the Earth Crisis Group in May 2024. In one sense, it was a coincidence, as I was looking to join an online contemplative meditation group on a Thursday evening. The fact the group reflects and shares on climate and ecology after the meditation locked me into joining fully. Looking back, it was the Spirit opening this door for me. I've been meditating for about 50 years, and in the last decade, I have become more focused on Christian meditation. Involvement with the WCCM, both in person and online, has helped me greatly in this. Since my childhood, I have tried to follow Jesus not just by prayer, but by charitable actions and support of people living in poverty and in hardships. Over my life, I have grown in my knowledge and care of the environment. The harms to creation and to humanity caused by many of our collective human activities grieve me. The relentless surge for growth by governments, corporations, and financial institutions, driven by the urge for power and wealth, puts aside the collateral damage. I want those in authority and leadership to be held to account. The Earth Crisis Meditation Group is a place where I find others from around the world striving to properly steward the earth and follow Christ's injunctions to care for those in poverty and in need, and to love one another. The loving care shown by each and every one of us here is a blessing. The meditation session brings centering and prayerful mindfulness. The sharing discussion afterwards is refreshing, allowing hope to enter, while keeping aware of all that needs to be done. And many of our discussions also look at practical actions appropriate for our different locations and circumstances. I give thanks to the Lord that we meet and share so prayerfully.
I've been pondering the link between our silent meditation practice together in the Earth Crisis Group and the actions which I feel compelled to take for our planet. John Main identifies this link very well. He says that in meditation, we deepen our commitment to the universal Christ and to the whole of creation, which means a committed concern and compassion for the beauty of nature and a respect for the environment. I would add that our concern for the whole of creation includes concern for social justice, climate justice, and peace in our world. There isn't time here to list every action I take, but here are a few examples, and my aim is to tread as lightly as I can on the earth. Perhaps many of you also take these actions, or perhaps they may seem too inconvenient or so small as to make no difference in the grand scheme. But we can discuss this in the breakout groups afterwards. Firstly, I have changed my bank account away from a bank that has interests in fossil fuels to one that has no exposure at all to these companies. It was a fairly easy process, as the new bank did all the heavy lifting. I am trying to reduce my consumption of new goods, which will inevitably end their life in a landfill site or incineration plant down the line, by buying second-hand wherever possible. There are so many places to buy good quality second-hand now, online and on the high street. I also use my repair cafe to get things mended, if possible, and I also use a local refill shop where I take containers to be filled with anything from rice and coffee to laundry powder and shampoo. This greatly cuts down on the amount of packaging used, and I try to buy fair trade and in season wherever possible too. In the garden, I use peat-free compost, as peat is a powerful store of carbon and water if left in the ground, and it can prevent flooding and encourage biodiversity. I don't use pesticides or herbicides in the garden at all, and I have persuaded my husband to stop using slug pellets. I find I can't kill anything anymore. And as a result, we see many species of insects, including a wide variety of bees and butterflies, as well as birds. None of this is completely easy or free of effort, and we won't all feel able to do the same things. It is rewarding, although it takes more time and is sometimes inconvenient. My friends regard me with kindly amusement. We'll now move into our breakout groups, and we'll think of the things which have been mentioned so far in this forum, and the things which concern you, or indeed break your heart, and the changes you could make, the actions you are already taking, or the things which you find challenging. And let's talk about these.
Hello again, welcome back. I hope you're able to have a good conversation. It wasn't very long, but it was at least a beginning exchange to come together and start discussing some of these really important issues. As we come back together, we'd like to take some time for silent prayer, 5 minutes of silent prayer, and then we'll listen to some poetry, a song, and we'll close our gathering. So as we begin the silent prayer, let's find again a comfortable position. Let's calm our breath. Close our eyes. And we will begin.
Beloved earth, ancient dreamer, keeper of bones and stories, we, breath in your body, stardust in your veins, come before you with hearts both broken and burning. In this time of the great turning, when despair and possibility dance in the same holy darkness, may we offer ourselves as imaginal cells in your metamorphosis. May we be scattered like spores, each carrying a fraction of the future, each vital, each necessary, each aflame with particular purpose. May our courage rise to match the magnitude of these times.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
Very special thanks to our readers during this gathering, to all the Earth Crisis Meditation Group members who are represented through our collective voice, and many thanks to all of you for being here with us tonight. We're very sorry for the technical glitches. We're just all here to be together and to grow and learn together. Peace and blessings and love to you all. Jim, if you wanted to say a few closing words, and thank you again for being here.
Well, a few closing words. I'd like to say many thousands of words or sit in silence again with all of you because it's been so rich. And by the way, don't worry a moment about technical hitches or problems. It just kind of made it more complete because what we're facing is a global technical hitch. So you managed to include that as well. I speaking for myself, but I know that I'm speaking for the small group, the breakout group that I was with, and I'm pretty certain that I'm speaking for everybody who's been together tonight. It's just so generous of you to share at that level, individually and collectively. I personally found it deeply touching, deeply moving, and looking at the chat, what's written in the chat, and what we were exchanging in our group, it's joyful has just popped up on the chat. But hope, hope is what has been activated here tonight. And I think of, and it's activated by hearts coming together, sharing our heart, beautiful images, beautiful words, beautiful songs, and bravery, the courage to face the grief and the rage and the despair that was named and that was well acknowledged in our group as well. And I think what's wonderful about the group and the space that you've opened for us and keep opening for us is that we can experience that grief and that rage, and thank you for highlighting that, and we can give thanksgiving and celebrate at the same time. These are apparently impossible things, but they can be held together in a big enough heart. And just a few little memorable things. At the very beginnings, that in a way, this whole process that you've shared with us is enabling us to see as the bee sees. That wonderful poem. And something that particularly moved me was just the reworking of that potentially provocative and nationalistic England flag with love, trust, community, belonging written on it. It's such a beautiful thing to do. And the image, the abiding image of nature gaining a foothold wherever it can. And that's just a deep, profound lesson to each of us. That's what we all need and fundamentally desire to join in with. So thank you, everybody. These times together are really, really important. And it's just wonderful that is available for anybody who wants it. Thursday, 7 p.m. UK time. Also, just encourage you to check out the if you're not a regular visitor, the Earth Crisis page on the WCCM website at WCCM. Click on Outreach and then go to Earth Crisis. And something I just happens to be on my desk, but this little book by my good friend Thomas Litzler is just out, Meditating with the Earth. So I recommend that to you. A final peace and blessings and love to all. Thank you so much. And we shall meet again. God bless.
Thank you.